Can we replay that one time?
Bill.
Remember, you fix the light one.
Oh, sorry.
Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. I'm going to talk with you about a topic today which I'm very torrid about. Our forefathers could never imagine that one day the pursuit of happiness would become the subject of serious scientific study, but it has. I'm going to share with you some of the findings of 21st century psychology in the hopes that you can put them to use in some of your own efforts in the pursuit of this elusive state. But before we turn to what the humans have to say about the science of happiness, let's check out what the animals think about it. You may not have to study. She's thinking, I'm so happy I haven't been eaten today. So the scientific study of happiness is embedded within another development in my field that's called positive psychology. This fellow, Martin Seligman, is one of the movers and shakers in this field. I recommend his book to you, Authentic Happiness, Using the New Positive Psychology to Realize Your Potential for Lasting Fulfillment. This movement in the field in some way mirrors my own development. I started out in this business as a psychotherapist, figuring out how to understand, help people with problems. But over time I've found, and the field has informed and developed with me, that we're much more interested in what's really best about people. Though as a practicing psychologist, people come to me with problems. The real joy of practice for me is to listen carefully and reflect back, the stories of indomitable courage and strength and joy of the human spirit that I listen to every day, which if we could pull back the veil, every one of us here, we would see the same thing. If we're going to look at a subject like happiness scientifically, of course we need to define, well, what are we actually studying? What is happiness? That's a little bit of a tricky thing in itself, and we all have our own personal definitions of that. We go by our perceiving. Here's one from positive psychology, formula, of course. That's pretty good. Pleasure plus engagement plus meaning equals happiness. A joyful, content life. I love that name. I don't know how to pronounce that. Here's mine, Dr. Dave. A stable, felt sense of well-being that endures within life's vicissitudes, the ups and downs of our experience. So how well do we predict happiness? What are the things that actually generate, produce, and enhance our pursuit of happiness? Turns out we're really not all that very good predictors of our own happiness, what's going to contribute to our happiness. So what do you think? Any guesses? What really predicts human happiness? Shout out. Yeah.
Contentment.
Contentment. Anything else?
Environment?
Stress-free.
Your environment?
Environment.
I think surprise. I think that
Surprise.
I think it's choice.
Choice. All right, well, here's the answer, folks. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. Funny. I'm just kidding. This is the idea sold to us 1,000 times a day by commercial advertisers. So it turns out, though, there actually is some relationship between money and happiness. If the money can pull a person out of poverty up into a level of middle income, that does have some effect on the experience of happiness. Beyond that, though, it tends to level off. More and more income, money stuff doesn't really result in a linear relation to increased happiness. So what is the number one predictor of happiness? Well, here's a clue. Oh, we're going to just build an acronym here, one letter at a time. I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll figure it out as we go. All right, the best predictor of human happiness, not to hog the stage entirely. Who else? There we go. Hey. For over half of a decade across the U.S. and many countries, the most robust finding is that the best overall predictor of happiness and life satisfaction is the depth and breadth of our social relationships. This is where action is. There's a lot of large survey results that sort of capture some variables around this experience of happiness. At the University of Chicago, they did a survey. They found that just people identified that they had 5 or more close friends, that they were more likely to describe themselves as happy. Skip through for the sake of time. But basically, overall, family life provides the greatest overall source of satisfaction, looking at a wide range of survey results. The second flag of our acronym is optimism. Basically, how we view events has a lot to do with our experience of happiness, how we understand package setbacks. What we want to watch out for is the 3 P's of pessimism, which are there. If something bad happens, it's persistent, it's pervasive, and it's personal. What that means is something bad is happening, it's going to last forever, it's going to undermine everything, and it's my fault. I saw talk with a fellow recently been laid off. He was like, well, yeah, I got laid off from my job. I probably, I'm not going to be able to get another job ever. And since I don't have a job, my girlfriend's going to leave me. And worst of all, it's really my fault because I should have taken that other job. They wouldn't leave me off. An optimist interprets their life and setbacks very differently. An optimist says the exact opposite. This problem is confined to this situation. It's temporary. Most importantly, it's someone else's problem. It's not my fault. Some other data on pessimists, generally speaking, that framework looks like that. For time, I'll skip. Our next plank of our happiness study is appreciation. Sometimes it takes scientists to say something that's really obvious to our common sense, that if you want to be happy, the practice of gratitude is a very good practice. All you guys that watch Oprah know this, right? And this is what it really shows. Typically, people who are habitually grateful and express it are happier than those who do not. Simple as that. There's one study I'll tell you about briefly. But I just took a group of people, and for a week, they had them write down in the day, here's 3 things that went well today, and why did that good thing happen? 6 months later, those folks routinely, significantly reported increased happiness, less depression. They looked into that, well, why is this still happening? What's going on? How to account for that? Well, 60% of them were still in this practice of just expressing and exercising gratitude. Finally, the last but one, P for purpose. Ironically, the pursuit of happiness, attending to other people's happiness, is actually a key ingredient. Older Americans are surveyed, what predicts their happiness in life is do they think their life had purpose, pretty basic thing. Want to increase your happiness, 24%, become a do-gooder. It really does have an effect. Acts of just simple voluntary, improved self-esteem, heart rates, blood pressure go down, get more endorphins, like exercising, enhance the immune system, better stress, a better buffer against stress. That's a book I recommend to you, my local one. Power of doing good. So there it is, our acronym of happiness. Your personal hygiene of happiness. So SOAP. So as you think about where to invest your capital, your energy on this happiness portfolio of yours, put your investments here: social relationships, the depth and breadth of your connections, the cognitive style of optimism, how you handle your setbacks, practice gratitude, and above all, devote yourself to a purpose greater than yourself. Since I'm already over time, I'm going to share with you a closing thought from George Bernard Shaw, Irish playwright. He said, "This is the true joy in life, being used up for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. The being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little plot of alienation and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I'm of the opinion that my life belongs to the community, and as long as I live, it's my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for the splendid torch which I got hold of for the moment. I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to the future generations. That close enough?